Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with Josh Pritchard in Bournemouth ahead of Sunday night's action. Josh, sorry to keep you waiting. First of all, I apologise, but pleasure to speak to you. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. Back in Bournemouth for another fight week. It has to be my favourite fight week. Nice and local to Portsmouth, so yeah, I love fight weeks in Bournemouth.
Nice and local indeed, on a Sunday, not a Saturday, as I've tripped myself up many a time this fight week so far. But you're in the corner for Lee Cutler this weekend. Talk to me about the addition to Lee in the gym and him joining the gym in the first place. What was the discussions around that?
Yeah, well, Lee and Chris have obviously known each other for a few years. They boxed amateurs together. Taken on Lee just before this camp started, so we've had eight weeks with him. Yeah, he's a great talent. He's a really good talent. We've been working on lots of stuff in the gym. I think he's got a huge potential, but we're going to not overlook Sunday night for the English title, and we'll grab the win and move forwards.
I was saying to Lee yesterday, coming to the gym with the thriving gym that you got, with the successful gym that you got, you're riding a wave right now of good hard work that's paid off on the fight nights. Does he feel a sense of pressure to perform, to not be the guy that loses, considering the record that you guys have at the gym? He said, look, I acknowledge that record and I don't want to be the guy that lets the people down, but is there a sense of pressure that's carried through, not maybe proactively, but passively because of the work that you guys have done?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, Lee's used to performing under pressure as it was. His last fight was in the stadium against an undefeated guy, so that was enough pressure. We're a team, we're a family in the gym, and we're all rooting for each other. I don't think that the name, so to speak, will add any more pressure. It will just help him and reassure him on the night that he's in a good place, and no, I think he'll thrive.
It's under your guidance, but let's get to know you a bit more as a coach. What's your style? What's your ethos? Obviously, working under Shane McGuigan's guidance, you'll obviously parrot some of that and have those. But what's your influence that you'll be adding to your fighters?
Yeah, I mean, look, I always say that I've probably served the best apprenticeship in boxing. I was fortunate enough to box under Shane and Barry when Barry was managing. So, yeah, and I've coached with Shane now for the best part of 6 years. So I've been with the McGuigans for almost 10 years now, 9 years. So I've had a great apprenticeship, so to speak. And like you said, when you're surrounded with good coaching, that just breeds across to yourself. But a good coach has got to adapt to each and every fighter. Everyone's different, so I believe that I'll get the best out of Lee and his particular style, and hopefully we'll see.
We'll see indeed. We'll see that on Sunday. We'll also be seeing Billam-Smith versus Masternak. Look, a lot of people kind of saying this at the start. They were maybe expecting Chris to come through this quite easily, but as this has rolled round, this is a tougher fight than expected here. Chris has got to be on his P's and Q's if he wants to retain his title here on Sunday.
Absolutely. I mean, like everyone keeps saying now, the reason why Masternak is not a voluntary, because he's a very dangerous fight. He's heavy-handed, punching combination. He's always ready to punch. So it's a dangerous fight, and we all know that Chris just loves to get stuck in. But I think that the way Chris has been performing in camp, it's going to be a great performance on Sunday.
What would you like to see for Chris? Obviously the win of the weekend, but there's rematches looming for him in the form of Lawrence Okoli and Richard Riakporhe. Unifications on the horizon too. Chris said he's a big fan of big domestics, but more gold sounds great as well also. But what would you like to see in terms of his trajectory moving into 2024?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of fighters get a lot of stick for some of the decisions they make when they're at world level, like who they pick. But at the end of the day, a lot of boxers, they have a short career and they want to make as much money for the family as possible. So, but I think that, we'll get through Sunday night. I think Chris will look really good. That Riakporhe rematch looks tasty. I would absolutely love to see him unify. Maybe even unify before Riakporhe. I don't know what the stance is on that, but probably have the rematch against Riakporhe and then hopefully try and unify the division and make some money for him and his family and have some big fights.
What type of fight do you think this will be on Sunday? We've seen Lawrence Okoli. It wasn't the best on the eye, although it was Chris's crowning moment. Do you think this will be more of a fan-friendly fight for people tuning in on Sunday?
Yeah, I think if you look at Chris's past performances and fights, there's not many there which wasn't a fan-friendly fight. So that's just Chris's natural style. He's always going to be in a fan-friendly fight. Obviously, you're right that it wasn't the best fight last time out with Lawrence, but Lawrence is awkward. He's been in some difficult fights himself. So, but no, Masternak is an aggressive, come forwards fighter who puts your shots together, similar to Chris in a way. So it's gonna be an entertaining night. Hopefully not too entertaining for me and Shane in the corner.
Hopefully, indeed, just widen a couple of the discussion to the more broader boxing sphere before I let you go. Former head in the gym, Daniel Dubois takes on Jarrell Miller. What do you think about that fight? Do you think do you think Daniel will come through that fight against Jarrell, or do you feel Jarrell might be able to cause some problems there?
Interesting fight. I think that I thought Daniel done a good job against Usyk last time out. Obviously, there was a lot of controversy with the low blow, but I think that Daniel, especially if he lands early, which I think he will, because I don't think Jarrell Miller's that difficult to hit, and I think Daniel punches so hard in them little gloves. I think they'll get an effect early on and probably get him out there. But you don't know. I mean, Jarrell Miller's not that active either, so it'll be interesting to see. I've seen him spar up close in Miami against Lawrence. That was interesting. He's a big lad. So, but I think that with the small gloves on, I think Daniel will do the job.
Heavyweight Undisputed is looming very soon. What's your thoughts on that fight? You've got a breakdown for Fury Usyk. Who do you think wins the Undisputed crown?
It's a really interesting fight, and I think it's even more interesting now because of Fury's sort of last performance. I've sort of always had it in my mind that Fury was going to do it, having the size, sort of being negative. I felt like he'd take that away from Usyk, but if you don't look too much into his last performance, I'd maybe stick with Fury. But I don't know. I'm maybe edging to Usyk now. I'm sat on the fence a little bit.
Just bringing it back to yourself, not only with training, you've got not only is your focus on training with fighters, but when you become the leads and such, you've got to face the media, you've got to face the scrutiny that comes with it as a coach, getting things wrong, getting things right, whatever. You ready for that side of things as well?
I'll do my best. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of armchair fans. It's very easy to give someone some stick online when they're not doing it themselves. So, but no, look, I'm from a very privileged boxing background with the McGuigans, and I think that I'll be making the right calls at the right time.
Hopefully you do. I'll leave the final word with you. What happens on the night of Lee Cutler's fight?
A good, solid performance, first of all, and I think he'll probably get to him in the end and get a stoppage.
Josh, pleasure. Looking forward to it. Thanks for being Seconds Out.
Thank you.
Good stuff.